Hello and welcome to another day. This is March 24th, 2022, and my name is Kurt Bell. This is my Good Life Meditation, a daily exercise that I do to remind myself of my life objectives and principles and to see how I'm doing applying these to the challenges and opportunities of every day, namely yesterday, and to plan for the coming day. And this morning I want to welcome a new addition to my little area here, Dr. Carl Sagan. So the second most influential person in my life. Dr. Sagan's book Cosmos and his television series of the same name essentially were a glimmer of, at about age 16, were a glimmer of sunshine, of light through the clouds of adolescence as my family was breaking up when I was a teenager. And mom and dad were distracted by their circumstances. And I was kind of without a rudder. Didn't really know what the hell to do. I didn't really know that I was so lost and forlorn. Is forlorn the right word? Potentially. I didn't realize what a ship at sea I was in a stormy sea at that point until hindsight, as I look back. And then it was the discovery of Dr. Sagan's writings and his perspective on the universe that really compelled me to say, well, okay, I found a direction, which is to understand the world as it really is, and to be able to stand up to my own nonsense, and to do better than wishful thinking. And thank you, Dr. Sagan. And if you're wondering who the first most important person in my life is, that would be Henry David Thoreau, who provided more of the philosophical impetus to do the same. All right, let's begin. Last night and yesterday, I slept really well last night. This is it's starting to become a habit, just sleeping well. Very pleasant habit. I like it. So good night of rest. Woke up just, my usual, senior citizen midnight toilet runs. Guy's got to pee. Old man's got to pee. Other than that, and I did wake up once at 4, like I did the night before, the morning before, and one time I just saw the moon in its waxing state. I went right back to sleep, deep sleep, and then I did wake up again at 4:30. That's right. I looked at the alarm, but went back to sleep, and it felt like I slept for 2 hours, really deep. When the alarm went off, I felt really good. So even though I was waking up, it wasn't this lingering, laying in bed, staring at nothing, the ceiling, looking out of watching Venus's inexorable rise. That seems to have kind of passed in a way, and I know it's really. I know all this is related to work now. Things are going really well with my job and the projects. I feel like I've really settled in. Got nothing but more than the normal challenges to take on, and correspondingly, I'm sleeping better. Even okay, it's pretty convincing evidence. And yesterday's work day, another solid day of work yesterday. Man, good. Feels good to get so many good things done, and I'm going to have another good one today. It's my last day of work. Tomorrow, I'm going to have lunch with 2 friends of mine. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to ride my motorcycle to Pasadena and see I just leave it at that. Just 2 good friends. Every life paradigm, every life chapter of his life has people in it. And as I get older, I'm appreciating that more. So these are people from this paradigm. People from this paradigm, that sounds funny. Good people. All right, so let's do the good life. 7 objectives and 30 principles. I sure do like seeing Dr. Sagan back there smiling away. Makes me happy. And I do have a hardbound copy, first edition of Cosmos as well, to go with that. First objective is to be always ready to die. I also want to make good and effective use of my time, develop good and sound life principles, cultivate good emotional reactions, perform good actions, recognize true limits and true opportunity, and do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly. We're doing the lightning round, I see. Now for the 30 principles. I always want to be fighting against everything that I think is true. And I want to use reason as my apparatus and my way forward. Thank you, Dr. Sagan. To remember that I don't have a soul, but I do have a consciousness, but just for a short while, and only a little bit of time left. I need to remember that my consciousness is utterly alone, even when I'm with my family. And that particular problem will never really be resolved. Because there's an inexorable distance. Is that right? Is that the right word? Between one of us and another. And to remember that good and evil are just concepts, they're ideas. Doesn't mean I shouldn't take them seriously. It doesn't mean I shouldn't work on them. But it does mean that they're not universal. Although when they're objective, they kind of look universal. When we objectively measure them, that's as close as they get to being universal. And then when I want to have some purpose in my life, which is to be a good husband and a father, a good citizen, and to pursue my life's work, which is the sharing of the good life in my story of going alone. I want to remember that everything is made of little atoms, and that everything falls to pieces eventually. And that everything has some particular nature, and it's good to remember what that nature is, so you can work with things accordingly. And that free will is an illusion, a very compelling illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. And that maturity is a desirable state that's arrived at when we remember our past successes and failures. We're wise in that capacity, and then when we're strong to continue the successes and to avoid the mistakes. That we're social creatures, we need one another. And that it's really a good idea not to gossip and to communicate effectively. Very careful compositions of words in writing or speaking to get our message across in a clear, concise, and poignant manner. Prudence comes to mind. And what's that other word? Yesterday I was struggling for a word to describe somewhere in this whole good life paradigm. There's scheme. This good life scheme. There's a new word. I can't remember quite what it is. It's just floating off there like Pluto in the distance. Anyway, temperance, to be very careful about my consumption of life, food, drink, work, play, everything else. Remembering that life is a horror show, chock full of terrible things, and I can do what I can to help. And then the Feast of Offal, remembering not to, share out my own difficulty and upset in an intemperate manner, but to keep it inside and to find other ways. And likewise, when others are upset, to be very careful about how much of that I consume, but to be there to help. And to remember that life is full of opportunities for distraction. Our jobs, our families, our hobbies, our religion, all of these things are useful methods to keep us occupied in our life and to also help us to not see what we don't want to see, which is namely the deep emptiness of the universe. And to remember that to be okay, to be happy with where I am, who I am, and what I am doing right now. The best seat in the house. All the while striving for better. As paradoxic as that sounds. And then to keep on the path of wildness, or be on the path of wildness when I need to, which is a way forward into new life. Upward and through. To remember to attend to the deep level risk of life as well as the surface level stuff. The surface level stuff being our education, our career, our family, our preparing for our old age. And the deep level risk being the attention to the man or the woman that we want to become. And to never sin, where the sins in my life are to be untrue, to believe things too readily, to accept a dogma or accept authority too easily, to dwell in hope or to exercise faith, and finally to gossip. All of these sins lead us to a state of damnation in the here and now, where we live a damnable life. And the next one is complete oblivion, to remember that since we have no soul, since there is no God, that when we're dead, that's the end. We won't see our loved ones again. We won't have a chance to make amends, and there won't be any final justice. So we have to do all that stuff, attend to those things, and pursue them now while we still have a chance. Also to look after having one or more great life adventures, to become a centerpiece of our life too, our story. And then to remember to write down what we've experienced along the way, our season of philosophy, when the words come, because they pass. And then remember that though we strive to hit the mark, we usually miss. And that life is a trudging uphill climb. Don't stop trudging, go as high as we can. The view gets better all the way up. Unless we stop along the way and say, I'm going to stay right here. And then that can be nice, it can be restful, but there's consequences. But not really. It's okay to do that. Kind of. But there's consequences. Remembering that life is an arena, and that we carry our principles like tools, and we get to use them. And also that less is better, and nothing is even best of all. Kind of. Not really, but yeah, really. And then to remember to have fun. There you go. There's my good life creed. Now let's prepare for the day. It's my last day of the week. It's Thursday, or as people who get every other Friday off like I do, we call days like this, is Friday Eve. Excuse me. I amuse myself, as Yumiko says. So I'm going to get up right now. I'm going to go over and read my Bible. I'm on Chronicles 12 today. After I do that, I'm going to fire up the computer, get my computer situation all set up for the day's work. Then I'll feed the dogs, feed myself, then I'll get to work. Excuse me. Allergies. Have a great day. Be safe, but not too safe. Welcome, Dr. Sagan.